Yo, what up, brother? It's not doing more that's gonna make you successful. It's doing less of the certain things that you're already doing. The most successful people in this world are successful not because of what they do, but it's because of what they don't do. They're doing less of the stuff that you're probably doing. So here are 5 things that you must eliminate from your life in the year 2024. Starting with number 1, you've got to stop seeking extrinsic motivation. You guys know the feeling of I need to be motivated. I don't feel motivated. I can't go to the gym without listening to my podcast, without listening to my David Goggins, you don't need it. Extrinsic motivation is all the things that you feel like you need in order to be motivated. Things, external sources of places that you go to just to feel motivated. It is completely unnatural, super normal, and is actually an addiction that nobody talks about, especially in the self-help space. Why? Because everyone wants you to watch their videos and not get off their platform. But the reality is that you do not need external sources of motivations, and the most successful people in the world know this. Elon Musk himself has stated that if you as an entrepreneur need motivation to be motivated, then entrepreneurship is not for you. And when I heard that, it changed my life, because I realized I was being an addict to motivation, and I was always seeking my next fix of my new podcast or YouTube video or channel or favorite person or influencer that was trying to keep me motivated. And I realized that the most motivated people don't need motivations. Think about it like this. Who's the most motivated person on planet Earth? It's mothers. Does a mother need motivation to wake up to feed a newborn child? More specifically, it's a new mother that just gave birth to a baby. She needs absolutely no motivation whatsoever to get up to feed a child. Why is that? This is why it's important. I love this. Why is it important to identify why a mother doesn't need motivation? It's because if she does not get up to feed that child, it's going to die. Now, this is a really important fact of humankind. The reason we have motivation in the first place, where it actually comes from, is a fear of death. Because death is the ultimate motivator in life. Death is what keeps us moving. So if you want to be motivated intrinsically, that comes from within, that you do not need any sort of external source to feel motivated, you could try to associate the action you're trying to be motivated to do with death. You can think, I'm going to go to the gym and hit the gym because if I don't, someone will die. I'm going to work on my business because if I don't, someone's life might be at stake. This is how I think and I physically operate in my own life. When I go to the gym, if I feel unmotivated, in other words, being lazy, I think to myself, if I don't do this, I'm going to be another fat, overweight person that no one respects, and how will I ever influence people? But if I have my act together, if I'm a well put together man, and I have earned the respect of other people because of my physical attributes and my fitness, then people will take a second glance at me, and I will make an impression on them. I will influence them, and I might save their lives, and that's how I will change their lives. And if I don't, I'm losing a life, and they're actually dying because I didn't. Okay? Death is the ultimate motivator, and you do not need external sources. So that's the thing you have to give up, is this need for external sources just to be filled up and motivated in your life. Number 2, thing you got to give up. Mindless social media use. Oh my goodness, guys, you know what I'm talking about. The endless hours late into the night, as soon as you wake up, on the weekends, of just scrolling and whatever the YouTube universe has to show you, and you justify the hell out of it by saying, oh, it's educational. I need to learn about XYZ facts about the universe, or about the dinosaurs, about the meerkats or aliens or the pyramids, because it's educational. Really? Is it educational? If it's educational, you will apply it to your life and it will change your life in some way. It's not educational, it's mindless. And you've tricked yourself to think it's educational. 98% of the stuff that you probably consume is not mindful, it's mindless. And we've got to stop it. Is there a way to be less mindless and more mindful? Yes, absolutely. For example, you could just on YouTube, for example, go to your subscription feed only, and that's all you do. Or another way to use YouTube in a mindful way is only use Google search to search for videos, right? For example, you can say, latest Mr. Beast video, if you want to, I don't care. And then you would search that, and that's the first thing that'll pop up, right? and you watch the video right there in the Google search, and there's no need to go onto YouTube. So it's being mindful. These are just examples, guys, of ways that you can be mindful with your attention and your social media use without being mindless. It's enough of the mindless stuff, because these platforms, all of them, not just YouTube, Instagram, Meta, TikTok, Reddit, freaking Twitter, whatever, they have no incentive to have your best interests at heart. Think about that for a second. Their best interests and your best interests are not aligned at all. They want you spending as much mindless time on their platform as possible. That's their primary objective. Is that aligned with what you want in your life? No, it's not. So don't let yourself be fooled into their enslavement system. It's not what you want in your life, and you've got to get out of it. It's time to stop the mindless social media use. Number 3, thing you got to remove from your life completely this year is porn. You've got to remove it. I have talked endlessly about porn on this very channel. Go watch some of those videos after this. There is a fallacy, a farce that is going around stating that porn is healthy. This is the commonly accepted normal behavioral belief in our society today, that porn is healthy. All right? And if you have an ounce of wisdom in you, if you think about it for half a second for your own self, does that make any logical sense that watching hyper-stimulating sexual content and jerking off to a screen can be healthy behavior? All right? If you ask a semi-wise person for half a second if that's actually healthy, they will say, absolutely not. That's not healthy. That's completely degenerate behavior. How is it possible that you can have two opposing, completely, not even similar beliefs, by the way, that are going the same direction? They're completely opposing forces, as this is healthy versus this is absolutely unhealthy. How is it you can have two completely opposing forces? By the way, my car is driving itself, if you're wondering. Forces that are existing in the same realm. It's because of the effect of dopamine that porn has on your brain. This porn motherfucker, demon, monster, hijacker, whatever you want to call it, the porn brain, is telling the entire world through clever trickery and system rewiring that this is healthy, that you need this. In other words, it's telling you that in order to survive life, you need porn and masturbation. If you don't, you're gonna die. Your balls are gonna explode. They're gonna fall off and you're gonna get prostate cancer. That's what the entire world currently, not the entire world, that's what the current narrative trajectory of our culture is telling us, is that this is good for you, which is the opposite of what is actually true. Now use your brain for half a second and ask yourself, do you really believe that watching porn by yourself and masturbating, because probably that's what you're doing, is good for you? Or is that really what you want to do with your life? And that's the more important question. What is the man, who is the man that you want to be, and what do you want to do with your life? That's the more important question, okay? Number 3, porn. Number 4 thing that you've got to eliminate and give up this year is going to supernormal activity when you have difficult emotions. Going to supernormal stimulation when you're experiencing negative emotions. For example, what are supernormal stimuli? They're anything that didn't exist throughout all human history until the last 100 years, basically. Anything like that. For example, screens, video games, drugs, alcohol, porn, obviously, anything that we never had access to deal with the difficult emotions. This is fundamentally how addictions are formed, my friend. An addiction is formed when you have a difficult emotion that you don't know how to deal with, and you grab onto some kind of supernormal activity, supernormal stimuli that's going to numb the emotion so that we don't feel it anymore. And over time, you develop a dependency on that behavior just to stop feeling the emotion. That's how an addiction is formed. And usually these dependencies and these addictions are formed very young in our life, when we are teenagers, as you know, 12, 13, 14 years old. So the solution to dealing with these emotions in a productive way is removing the supernormal aspect completely and only dealing with emotions, all emotions, negative, in a way that we would have had access to throughout all of human history. In other words, think of yourself, if you lived 100 years ago, how would you have dealt with the stress that you experienced this week in school, in your work, in your relationship with your wife, etc.? You probably would have talked to somebody about it to deal with the emotion, probably would have reflected or prayed or meditated about the emotion. You probably would have journaled or had some kind of introspection, or maybe just got up and killed a lion, moved your body, exercise, something like that, right? So the thing you've got to give up, the habit you've got to give up, is this need to deal with emotions, negative emotions, in a supernormal, unnatural, stimulating way that leads you to numbing emotions, but also developing addictions to supernormal activity. And it could be anything, like screens, drugs, alcohol, weed, whatever, all right? Number 5 thing you've got to give up this year, 2024, is being indecisive. The indecision in your life is weighing heavily on your heart and your mind to the point that you're always stressed. The biggest stress that is caused in your life is from the decisions that are remained undecided in your life and are weighing heavily at the back of your mind. That's taking up the headspace. It's the things like, oh, I don't know if I should pursue this career or this career, or if I should study this at university or this, or if I should marry this girl or not, if I should pursue marriage or not, if I should believe in God or not, if I should give up my porn habit or not, if I should subscribe to this YouTube channel or not. I'm just kidding. If you should, all these decisions that you have remained undecided in your heart and your mind because you want certainty, but you can't have certainty. Certainty is a fallacy. It's elusive because we want certainty, but we can't have certainty all the time, because the reality in life is that most things are hard to decide because there's pros and cons to both, to everything, right? So we can't have certainty, but you can have clarity. And this is an important distinction. When you make decisions, the most important decisions in your life, make decisions with clarity and don't search for certainty. Clarity is, I don't know what the best decision is, but in my heart, I want this and I'm gonna go for it. And I'm not gonna back down and I'm just gonna go. So make decisions this year. Write out all on a journal, on a piece of paper, write out all of the decisions that are remained undecided, that's taking up your headspace. Which house to buy? Should I buy or should I rent? Should I live in this country or this country? Should I marry, should I not? Should I propose or not? All this stuff that you know you need to decide on, it's weighing heavily on your heart. List them all, and then make a decision for each of those. Make a decision. By the way, it doesn't have to be a yes or no decision. It can be something like, for example, I'm going to propose to my partner in 6 months after I've worked on my porn habit for the next 6 months, as an example. Or I'm going to go to this country to do a mission trip for my church after I've invested in my faith for the next 3 months, or something like that. You're making steps or decisive decisions towards your end goal. And what'll happen, my friend, and I promise you this is true, try it. When you make decisions that are decisive and clear, you will free up the headspace, because you're no longer thinking like, oh, I should do this, oh man, I should do this, what am I gonna do? Because now it's just like, oh, I know what I'm doing with that. Like, I'm already clear what I'm doing in that regard, in my dating life, in my porn recovery journey. I already know what I'm doing with my finances, with my career, with my university, my studies. I already knew what I'm doing with my marriage, how I'm raising my kids. I've already decided what I'm doing, so I don't need to think about it anymore. So all of a sudden, you have freed up all the headspace that was consuming your soul, and so now you can focus. Now you can focus and get shit done that is really, truly important to you. You can minimize the clutter, the sound, the background noise in your life so that you can focus on what's really important. Make the decisions. Stop being indecisive. It doesn't have to be making clear black and white yes or no decisions. Like, I'm gonna divorce this woman or marry this woman, or it's like none of that. It's making decisions that are clear, that are going to get you to your ultimate goal of what you want. And maybe it's a small step, but it's a decision, and it'll free up the headspace so that you can focus on being present in your life and you can stop being stressed. And that's why you're so stressed. All right, this video was a bumpy ride, I know. Just to recap, number one thing to give up: Extrinsic motivations, give it all up. You don't need it. It should come from within you. You should be able to just sit alone by yourself with your own thoughts and muster and conjure motivation from nothing. Number 2, you have to stop the mindless scrolling on social media. No more mindless use. Figure out how to use it mindfully, on purpose, on your terms, so it's not controlling you. Number 3, gotta give up porn. Period. Cold turkey. End of story. Watch some videos on that on this channel. Number 4, give up these super normal activities and stimulations that you go to when you're feeling negative emotions. You know what I'm talking about. Number 5, stop being indecisive about the big decisions in your life. Just be clear and don't search for certainty because it's too elusive. Search for clarity and you will be unstoppable this year, 2024. See you in the next video.